So, for a pair of clippy socks, what was the command that we used to replay the last command?
Outside.
Huh?
Up arrow.
Bang, bang.
Yep. There you go.
I said otter.
Sorry, I didn't play baseball or anything. You can use the up arrow, yes, but the bang bang actually works. It actually runs it for you.
Oh,
So,
it takes the first one up and runs it?
Yep. It runs the very last one.
Okay.
Whatever bang and partial command to replay the last use.
So now we've logged in. We got on the box. We went to the index page. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me get out of this because I forgot we. Whoops. So. Oh, because I got the wrong one. That's why. I like having two windows, but wow. When the mouse is there, the mouse is so small.
You ever try using Terminator? The Terminator? Or the Terminator?
Yeah, it's actually, it has like the red bottom. I've seen it.
You can use multiple terminals in one.
Yes, well,
Within one screen, you can have multiple terminals.
yes. Well, it's not just that one, but that is one that's not bad. Hold on. Okay. So we let me make sure I'm back online here. Good. Okay. So we've logged on. We're using the sudo. So we've got sudo bang bang uses sudo to run the last command, which in this case was vim index. Okay. It asks me for my password, so we're going to do that again. How do I do it? Okay. See, this time I didn't need to do sudo in front of it. Why? The last command had sudo in it. Okay. So. Did you guys get that? Password? Did you get my password? Okay. It's all dots. So, okay. So here's the page, just like you're going to do it for King of the Hill type, that part of it. And then you're going to come down. You're going to go over where we want to. And what's the command we use to open up the line underneath it? I add a new line underneath it and then go into index mode. Oh, yes. Okay, to go above it, the line that you're at. Uppercase, yeah. You guys want to come in?
I'm thinking about it.
Come on in. We got room.
Come on.
It's not that scary.
Yeah. I don't bite. Anyway,
Well, I know you don't. I've known you too long. I know.
so
I'm so scared.
we put team, just like if you've done any HTML, and then the remover tag. And then when the script comes around, once a minute, you'll get a point for every minute that you have that. Okay? Again, this is on the CTF. It'll oh yeah, helps too. So it looks for that team tag. It can be anywhere in the page. Okay? Then it'll register you as long as you're registered, you've already logged in and signed up for the CTF, it'll register you as being, you've captured that server. Then you can still go for flags. There's like 33 flags. Yes, I went a little overboard. There's only supposed to be 3 flags per server, and I got the lethal weapon and was like, oh, this is awesome! And yeah, I think there's like 13 on that one. So anyway, so you're done. Do what? Oh, it's fine. What happened there? Okay. So, how do I save it?
Shift, right? Then WQ.
Wait a minute.
Escape, get out of there.
Shh. If you already know the answer.
He already yelled at me too.
Yeah. So you have to escape because you're in insert mode. So you have to go back to view mode. And then you hit, yes, you're right, colon, WQ. Everybody see that? And right quit. So we already, again, you saw right before the break, you saw what happened if you try to change a read-only file. It says read-only. You have, so there you go. Now, if you look at it, there it is. Okay? And what will happen is you won't see any difference. You'll just see that in the page. Because HTML doesn't know what to do with it. It ends up using it as just text. So that's how you would do that part. Now, what he was talking about earlier is, what if you could have multiple terminals or windows in your one window here, your one terminal window? You can use a program called Tmux. Tmux or Screen. Tmux is a little bit easier. So, I gotta remember.
If you use screen, I can help you. You're on your own.
Yeah, hold on. I can't. Well, Tmux is like, the command is split, I can't remember, but to go between them is pretty easy.
Yeah. The screen commands.
You doing that? What's going on? Okay.
Smack something? I mean,
Yeah. So, what you're doing is, we're going to run screen, and the S is, what does the S flag stand for? I can't remember what it stands for, but basically I'm naming it so that I can refer to it later. And from here, now how do you split it?
So you want to do a split vertically down, and it would be Control A, and then the horizontal bar.
Okay. So now you have one on either side. What's horizontal?
I think it's S.
S? Let's give that a shot.
I don't remember if it's capital.
There it goes. So now you have 3 windows. Okay? It's capital letters. So now you have 3 windows. Hold on for a second.
is that you?
Yeah, I just popped it. Did it kill that feed?
Yeah, but it's coming back. It's not mine.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason it wasn't seated right or something. Okay, so now you have 3. So how does this work? If you have a really big monitor, you only need 1 terminal window, and you can have multiple. If you're wanting to edit a file over here and see the log file over here, and how would you run to see the log file scrolling? What command can you use? There's 2 of them that we covered. Tail what? Anybody? Bueller? Dash F. So what's the other one we talked about? That was a little bit easier because you can drop out of the scrolling part and still go up and look at the. So it's less plus F, right? So now you can be doing that as it's scrolling. You can be watching 3 or 4 different ones. I've used it as we've started up servers. When we'd update a batch of servers, I would have 4 or 5 of them, in one. Again, monitor real estate is key to this. Mm-hmm. So I had a big monitor, and I had 4 or 5 setting up in one terminal, and just was watching them spin up to make sure no errors came out. And it works.
The other good thing about this is if you're using, if you're remotely on a system, like via SSH, if your session dies, your shit will still run if it's inside a screen session.
You just took it from me, man.
That's my job, man. I'm here to help you. Come on, get to it.
Okay, so with Tmux and Screen, what happens is it runs. Think of it as running virtual environment. That's even bad. Okay, so basically, like he was saying, if you're on a remote connection, okay, and you're SSH into a server, and all of a sudden that connection gets killed, that stuff's still going. You can then, a good example is you're at work, you're watching something go on, and you're like, man, I want to watch this when I get back to the house. You log out, you detach, you log out, you reattach the house, now you have, you see what's going on. Control AD, right, to detach?
Yes.
Okay, see how all went away? It's still there, still running. And if I came into the server and I wanted to see what it was, ls-l, is it no screen ls-l, right? No. What's this? Huh? No, that's to name it. I thought it was anyway. No.
I use a lot of Google.
Google? Yeah. What's the point of that? Okay. Screen and TMUX are beyond this, but just to give you an idea, it's something interesting to look at, and it will help you in the long run if you're learning stuff as you're going down the road. You can have a man page up at the same time. Now, there's also something else that you can get. It's called CSSH, which stands for Clustered SSH. So imagine what it does for screen, but it opens up 4 or 5 different windows. However, if you have 4 servers that you want to monitor, and you want to run the same command on all 4 servers, you can use CSSH. It'll go out and SSH into those servers, and then it pops up one little window that you type in all your commands. You run the commands, and it all runs through there. So, like, you could start if it's 4 web servers that you want to start the web servers at the same time, then you could do it all through CSSH. So, another thing that you'll need to know. Do what?
I was going to ask you about maybe off topic here, but the difference between in use cases for the locate and I guess it's the find command.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I struggle. Which one's better? Why would you use it? In other words, locating files. How do you find something?
Okay, good point. Let me go up to. Okay, before we get there, let me do this. So CD, you go forward, you do CD var www to HTML. If you do ... /, that goes back one. So for here, if I wanted to go to var www, if I wanted to go back up to that directory, I would just use CD or CD ... And that'll take me to var www. Now, if I wanted to go all the way back up to 2 of them, I would just go, and that can go as deep as you want it to go. Now, the reason I told you that was, let's say I want to go here, and I want to find something. So, what's the, if I'm unsure of the command,
PWD.
No, that's the print working directory.
Yeah, present directory. Yeah.
But if I know the command that I want to use, like find, but I want to know how to use it without using Google. Man. So let's just do find. Yes. Okay. So again, here are the options. Essentially, what find will do is it'll go from a starting location and go down the subdirectories of that to find a file. Okay? And with locate, it actually goes, if I remember correctly, it actually goes against your database. No, let me just look that up real quick.
Yeah, it keeps a database, so you have to either have a cron job to do and update DB on a regular basis, or it's not going to be up to date.
Yeah. So, and here's how you can run the update DB. So it writes file names matching at least one of the patterns. So you can do
So the downside to this is normally Update DB requires root privileges. So if you're working on a system you don't have root on, you can't guarantee that whatever you're using to locate for is going to actually be the most up-to-date database.
Right. So let's make sure I want to see if the server has Apache on it. Woo! It's got a lot, right? So how can I put that into a file to read later? Bueller. So that's another VM that would be good. Bueller.
Pipe it.
Pipe it. But what's the command?
Pipe. Oh,
Pipe reader.
One or two?
two.
If you want to append it.
Appending.
If I want to append it, if I already have that file out there, then I would want to append it. But if I don't know, when in doubt, what should you use? Append. Just to be on the safe side. Because it's not going to hurt. If there's no file, it's still going to start the file and go that way with it. So I'm going to now. So I'm in this directory, but I don't want to save this file in this directory. So how could I do that? How could I save it in my home directory?
Tilde backslash.
Okay. // Yes. What does that mean? Yes. Okay. So
I thought it was an obvious name.
You're my life.
yes. But there's a reason I'm getting to this. Okay. The // What that means, that tilde is a shortcut in the system to /home / your user, the user that you're logged in as. Now, if you sudo up to a different user, it's that user. So you have to be careful. So that is the same as if I went, and I'm just putting this out here so you can see it. That's all my stuff. You need to move it. Okay? These two are the exact same thing. This is just this tells the server, go there. Okay? Now, okay. So I want to save this under my home directory. And I want to save it as locate. Do I need an extension? A quote text? Nope, don't need it. So it went away, came back when it was done. So if I don't want to move from this directory, do I have to? If I want to view it?
You can view it. You have to specify where it is.
Right. Again, boom, same thing. There we go. Excuse me. Whew, Charles, come back again. Okay, now, here is that's in Spaceballs?
What?
Yeah, it's when.
Oh, okay, yes, it's at the beginning. Wait.
What kind of question is
Barf! Anyway, so,
take a picture, you guys?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
no picking noses. Oh, come on.
There you go.
Everybody picking that.
Okay.
Are we just at Privy Town? Is that what it is?
So, did we answer your question with find and locate?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you pass wildcards? Like, I'm so Windows world. dir space, something asterisk, not something. Those wildcards you can pass. You can use pieces of a file name.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just say, for sake of argument, I want to see if I have any .text files. Okay. So I can go here, and again, there it is. It's happening. So we're going to use a star.txt. So what is that going to do? Same thing it does in Windows. Well, minus this is the same as dir. Was it /w? Again, not Windows guy anymore. Oh. That should be something in there. You know what? Maybe I don't have a
directory.
What you get for not using extensions.
Huh? Now, if I wanted to make a file that has nothing in it, what do I could use touch. That's wrong, dude. Okay. So let's try that command again. There we go. Boom. I didn't have anything in there. My old hard drive, I replaced it, and this is a new one, so I don't have all the other stuff. I knew I had text files. I just haven't moved them back over here yet. So now, it's the same thing. So if you use star, what that error was telling me was there's nothing there. There's nothing there with anything with the .txt. You can also do it the other way. Let's say I want to do, we did the installed applications earlier. So if I want to do ls-l install, whoop. There it is. So anything that has that in front of it, there we go, we have two. Okay? So you can put it on either end. So it works pretty much the same way. Now, if I wanted to, on the find, I forgot this part of it. So if I wanted to find, to see if there's an index file under a directory, or I want to see if there's, in my directory, let's say there's tons of, you're in a log file or a log location. There's tons of logs, tons of just different types. So you want to start in the logs directory, or in my case, home B Karnes, and I want to see if there's any text files, right? So I can do find, name, yeah, I'm there, okay. And it should find two of them. Well, one of them, sorry. So what it does is it goes, what's the dot? What does this mean in the Linux world? And again, this is important because you would see this again. Current directory. So in this case, what is my current directory? Home directory. So it's going through. I've got lots of other directories underneath there, and it starts at the initial directory that you started at, and it goes beneath that. So it goes to all the subdirectories. I've got a lot underneath here, so I'm going to stop it. How do I stop it? Control-C, or the heck? Oh, they do have text file. Okay. See, these are anyway. So you could also use Control-Z or Control-C. Control-C for the first. That doesn't do it. Control-Z should do it. Or, as he said earlier, go to another terminal, hit Control or kill after you do. Yeah, okay. We'll have to get into this a little bit. So, if I'm running, I'm trying to think of an application that I've got that I would want to. Oh, if I want to see if Apache is running, I already know that Apache's on here. We did the locate, right? We found it. So I want to see if it's running. How do I see if it's running? I can use PS, EF, the pipe symbol, huh? Yeah. It works. You got to get them started. Okay, the pipe symbol, which is the upside or the straight line, and then grep. Grep is a way to do a search, text search, and then what do I want to look for? Apache. Woo! I've got several Apaches, so I know that it's running, right? So what if I want to kill this last one, 1854? This is the process ID, okay? Now, notice the last one actually has my command that I just ran. So if I want to kill 1854, what I can do is kill, and then the process number. Right? Not permitted. Why?
I really don't know.
Exactly. In this case, Apache under Ubuntu runs in the www.data group, but it's also a root. You have to be root access. But how can I, if if it's really stubborn and I want to kill it just flat out, -9. And it's like, done. As soon as I put in my password. I hate my password. It's secure, but I hate it.
Unicorn.
How did you know?
Try again. Paint uniform.
Boom. Okay. Now, if I do PSC EF grep again, there's 53, but no 54. Okay. But what did it do? What did it? Yeah. Anyway, it started a new one because in the config file it actually says I need this many threads, and you can modify that. Okay, or this many processes. So that's how you kill it. And in reality, you want to try and go through as much as possible just using kill so that it can like talk back to its parent process and kill nicely, get away nicely. So if you want to see what processes, another way to see what processes are running, you can run top. It may or may not be on the server. At the top, you see memory, total, free. You can do all kinds of different things. It updates as the processes are running. This is not bad. Q to quit out of it. I like H top. Okay, mainly for the top part of it. You've got your process or your cores, total memory, and swap space and all that stuff. It still gives this part, and then it actually gives you nice little, F keys that you can go in and look up.
What was that command?
H top. You may have to install it.
Thanks.
And it is Q to quit as well. Now, how do you install it if it's not on there?
That depends on your package manager.
Okay, that is correct. But in our case, using Kali and or Debian based, roughly, the one that we've talked about, apt or apt-get. Yeah. I didn't even talk about the different distros. Okay, here's my spiel on distros. Don't distro hop. If you are used to a distro, stay with it. There's only 4 or 5 major ones: Red Hat, Debian, SUSE. Really? It's a major one.
Why don't you just get them to all install Gentoo and then we can all.
Well, yeah, and there's the Gentoos, Arches, and Slackwares.
Those people are weird.
Yeah. Arch, if you've never run it, is very fast, but that's because it only puts on your machine what you want, and you will spend days
It's like the
modifying.
BSD of Linux people.
Yes. It's up to you. If you want to be honest with you, if you want a good distro, go with either Red Hat, Fedora, or CentOS. In that, they have their package management is a Yum install. Or Debian, Ubuntu, Mint, or one of the knockoffs from Ubuntu, Debian, and those are apt-get. Now, are there other package managers on those? Yes. For Red Hat, it's still really just Yum, but the command line and Ubuntu is still apt, but you can still use other GUI command line or GUI instances.
Is there a way to tell which package managers you're using? Like PPM, right? That's a type of.
What is it?
Or wait, PPM. That's a repository. I'm talking.
No, a PPM is it's a repository.
RPM?
No, PPM is for if they tell you to run this PPM, then you're using the Debian base because it has to do with that type of Yum install. Basically, it's how you connect to their repo. Yum, I don't know what theirs is, but they use something different. Now, on security, should you just go and put in someone's PPM? PPM stands for some prepackaged management or something. me as a developer, I want to create a repo for you to pull my code down. And so I make a repo and I call it a PPM. And what you do is you can add that to your sources. Is it a wise thing to do? Do you trust me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here. Put in this USB, right?
So signed. At least it's better than just downloading .devs and.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Now, my thing is, if it's something that a lot of people are using, and it's actually like you could go to the Ubuntu pages if you're using Ubuntu and see that. I still, part of me just doesn't. I don't trust people enough to add a PPM, but you can do that. I mean, it's risk. That's the big factor. What do you deem necessary? Now, with that being said, you can also add different repos to your apt-get or your apt part, which is a little bit beyond what we're doing here. The standard Ubuntu, what happens is when you're using Ubuntu or Yum, it goes out, gets the package, then it actually does a check in the background that you don't see. So it checks the key and all that stuff. So it's a little safer than just, like he was saying, oh, just download it, config, make it, install. Which you can do that, but again, do you trust somebody's code? Okay.
Everything comes from GitHub, man. Come on.
Well, yeah. So now, speaking of GitHub, we've talked a lot about different commands. Are you going to remember them all?
No.
Are there easy ways to figure out, like a cheat sheet, to figure out what the commands do? You don't want to read the man file all over again because you're like, man, there's just so much junk. I just want to have to remember how to do the command. There is. So, remember I talked about cheat and TLDR? So you can download, and I'll show you how to do this in a second. So there's a command that you can install from GitHub called cheat. And I'm going to use this for Nmap. So you do cheat once it's installed, and the command that you want to run. It gives you information. It's stripped down information. But the beauty part about it is you can take the generic cheat sheets, they're basically text files. You can modify them to fit you. You can add to or take away from your stuff. So, but it gives you so here's my cheat for Cedar. Do you remember this? Does anyone really know this table very well? Oh.
It doesn't have
Yeah. Wayne, you want the story on this?
You can tell it. Go ahead.
So, Wayne's in my, I've known Wayne for a long time, and we do a P&D class on Tuesday nights where we talk about this stuff, right? And we go into, how to do a CTF, learning Kali, here's how we run some stuff. We actually, go in and break VMs if we can get them to work. And so, Wayne, we were doing Nmap, which is a network mapping application. So, in the class on Tuesday night, I said, okay, use 192.168.1.0/24. Okay? He calls me the next day and says, man, this has been running forever. What's going on? And he sends me a screenshot, and it's .0/16. So he's gone from his local network to the internet. And now he's I'm like, shut it down. You don't know what you're on. And he's like, what? I did it. Oh, the biggest thing to remember is the smaller the number, the more you're going to hit. Okay?
Everybody did their Nmaps this last year.
Yeah. And there are IPs you don't want to touch. Like, Bill, I think you said it's NSA.
Yeah, NSA's got computers on the internet. Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you, these are not like, they're going to be around the 192s, the 172s, and the 10s. You don't want it hopping out of your network that you're playing around on and skipping through the internet, So this is what we're looking at. So 9 times out of 10, I can't remember this. So what I did was I actually took this page, which it came down to here. Okay. Now it looks huge because I've got it scrolled this way. But from my command line where I put in the cheat cedar to, and I'm assuming that's how it's said. I've not heard any different. If you've heard cider, okay. Cedar cider doesn't matter to me. The word, the slash, okay. And it was down to here. But I opened it up in Vim and went to this IPv4 wiki page because it had a great table and literally copied and pasted it into here. Done. Saved it, and every time I pull it up, now I have that table as a handy reference. So, like I said, the beauty part about Cheat is you can actually pull these and create your own. You can share them with your friends, do whatever. Okay? And they are literally whoops. So here are the ones that I have. You've got Ruby. The readme.md is what you get when you pull it down from GitHub. So there's all kinds. So if I want to see what, how to do PHP, just the down and dirty stuff in PHP, I can do cheat PHP. Now, as we talked about earlier, I've already created an alias that had, I'm lazy. I don't want to spell out cheat. So I have, so CH to me, it actually goes in the alias and puts in cheat for me. That's how lazy I am. Web server vulnerabilities, wireless encryptions, Wireshark. You're going to need Wireshark later if you're taking the intro to Wireshark tomorrow, maybe? Later today. Shodan, Shadow. What's Shadow? When you get on a server and you save your passwords, what is it for Linux? What does it do? Remember when we changed the passwords for the Kali earlier when we used the password command? Here's a password file. What do you not see in here? Here is, here's data. See that X? That means that the password is saved in the shadow file. So you're going to want to get the shadow file to get the actual hash. If you're going to, I'm not going to show you my shadow file. Oh, come on. So, but here's a way. One of the vulnerabilities, or one of the flags that we had at DerbyCon was they had a bad WordPress install with bad plugin. You went to ExploitDB, you ran their code exactly as it said right on ExploitDB on their server. It opened up and showed you their password file. Well, what does this give you? All the users on the server. Now, how do I know which one's a user and which one isn't a user?
What they can run.
Huh?
Whether they open up a shell or...
Who said that?
I didn't.
Yes. Whether, okay. See where it says bin false at the end? Right here for sane D, bin false? That's going nowhere, right? And there's another one, there's no login.
That's been logged.
Trying to find mine, but I think it's... What are you shaking for, man? You scared? You scared?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous? Okay. It was down. Oh, was it? Yeah, here we go. See how mine has bin bash on the end of it? That could be bin sh. Doesn't matter. Okay? So that's now I know that this person is a user. Here's the user group number too. Okay? So that's a good indication of who's a user, who's not a user. If you can get the password file, now you have a user list on that server. And you might see something see these commas? You might see stuff there. And you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that from me. Okay, so
You're going to show us how to get Jeep?
yeah, I'm pulling up the web page right now. No, you're gonna have to figure it out.
Google. Hit button.
Depends how much is it worth to you, huh?
Got some sweet sauce.
Sad that I thought I had the bookmark, but it's not. Okay, so here is the actual cheat website. Okay, you can't see that very well, can you? Oh, and of course it didn't do the.
No, okay.
Give me a second here.
We're up in links.
No, I'm just gonna do this. I know it's cheating, right? I wish you'd stop shaking. Okay.
Looks fine on my screen.
Okay, so can you guys see that? So if you go there, you can see all the documentation. Now, has anyone used Git before? This is driving me nuts. Why is that shaking?
Cage bag.
Something upstairs. Considering
It's the pool on the roof.
Nice.
Okay, so that's an 80s movie thing. That was 80s, man. I remember them telling us that crap. Okay, so one thing you're going to have to do is, this is why you need to be connected to the interwebs. Okay, so you're going to need to install Git if you don't already have it. Now, how do you check to make sure that Git's on your server or laptop or whatever? How can you check it real quick?
Just type it as fails.
That's one way.
You can do man get.
Man Git, yeah, there you go. See, I'm trying to get them.
He's trying to get him in for you.
Which? Now, there's several. Like I said, there's several ways, but the one that I always default to is if there's a man page for it. Not all of them are going to have it, especially if you're pulling something like this. This cheat doesn't have a man page, if I remember correctly. So here you go. You can see that it's already installed on mine. If you need to install it, what do you do? Sudo apt install Git. Now, if it comes back and says there's no release candidate or whatever for it, then how do you search to see what the actual name is? Come on. Sudo apt search. And then put Git. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah. Got it. So, if you look on the web page, see where it says clone or download? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tag this. I'll stop right here. So does everybody have Git on their server so that we can get this? Make sure everybody gets it? Git.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay, so once you've got Git, go to the web page, click on the clone or download, and you notice you can do a full zip, or you can.
If you're some sort of caveman.
Yeah, if you don't want to do that crap. Jeez. Now there are some things out there, and I'm going to show you. There is some of the security cheat sheets. You have to have this first, then you just go to their website, the security cheat sheet website, and it is just to download the zip file and pull those over and put them in your cheat folder. And that gives you the Wireshark and the Shodan and the kind of cool stuff. But you're going to go and you're going to grab this link, and you're going to copy it. And then you're going to go to, let me make sure. I create in my home directory, I create an applications folder so that I can actually pull this stuff in. See? So if you want to, I would make a folder, applications, apps, whatever you want to do, but make it in your home directory. Again, mine's applications, and I'm going to make another one just so that I can blow it away here in a minute. I don't want to overwrite my cheat directory. So I'm going to go into cheat class. Now, nothing's in here. So then I'm going to do git clone, and I'm going to paste that URL right in there. Notice it says cloning into cheat, blah, 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 done. Ta-da! I now have a cheat directory. Now, I'm not going to do it because it's already installed, but then you run the setup, I believe. You can read the readme, okay? So make sure there you go. Now, you can also find this information if you scroll down on this page. Ta-da! This is a nice little XCD web page, comic. But it tells you down here how to install. You can also do it with pip, which is if you have Python on your server, you can, which is the way I installed it, I believe. So you can do it pip, but just follow. I mean, there you go.
Well,
Now-
what's the git command? Roll back to the where you installed with the git command.
It is
Git clone.
git clone with a space. Git space clone. And again, git is the application. Clone is the thing in the application that you get.
There you go.
And then you put the URL that you got off of their webpage. Now, how would I check to see if Python is installed? Come on, we just did this. Yeah. Whoop. Helps too. No laughing. Now. Oh, it's really bad when you've got to look. Yeah. And I don't have my contacts and what. No, I'm just kidding. So another way to do, as Justin was saying, you can do Python. The only problem with Python is you're going to notice if it's installed, what do you think it's going to do? Sometimes you can run the application, and if it comes back and says, there's no application called that, and you go, oh, it's not installed. Okay, yeah, no problem. But if I do this with Python and Python's installed, ta-da! Now, if you've never run it before, you're going to get a whole lot of crap. This is the interactive shell for Python. Okay? So, how do you exit? Python people? Anybody?
Python friends.
Huh?
Python friends. Exit parentheses.
Yep. Boom. Now, what you can do, do what?
So I think Control C still.
Yeah,
I think
Control,
it's that.
or Control C, Control Z. But now, another thing you can do is check a version. So you may have to do that on a file. A lot of times it's a -v. Sometimes it's -v, or sometimes it's --version, or sometimes it's capital V when all the others do lowercase v, as in the case with Python, and it ruins me.
Tell us how you really feel.
You know, it drives me nuts. Because again, you do Python -v like everybody else, and you're going to get this crap. Which is okay, but now I'm back here again. Bless you, brother.
You feel better now?
No, I actually like Python. It's pretty cool.
dpackage-query-l.
So, here you go. Like if you wanted to check Ruby. Ta-da. See? Little V. If you wanted to check Java, it's version. No hyphen. Why?
That's Java.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've downloaded Cheat. Has everyone downloaded it? Again, you can do the pip, and there's another way to do it that way. So once you've installed it, then you need to, let me find the other, nope, I better go set up. Oh crap, we got 10 minutes, folks.
Thanks, Doc.
I think the next teacher will be okay with it.
You can buy him a beer later. Not really.
I don't drink it, so I don't support other people who drink.
There you go.
I really don't drink, but I don't care. Okay.
That'd be a hooker.
Okay. So, so out of curiosity, who still uses Google for their searching? How many people have heard of DuckDuckGo? Yeah, DuckDuckGo. Now, I will say this. They say they don't spy on you. Who knows? I like it. I've gotten it's an acquired taste. So, I think this one's it here. Yep, here we go. Okay, so So that will get you, that one all you have to do is download the zip file, and in your directory, in your home directory, you have, how do you have a hidden directory in Linux? Yeah. If you put a dot in front of it, okay, so notice there's a dot in front of cheat. If I went back and did an ls-l for cheat, let's just follow a directory. Because it's not looking for the dot. It's case sensitive too. But if I went here and just did a -l, notice cheat's not up there. But there's a lot of other hidden files I've got here too. So if I wanted to actually show that, I put an A and L. And the way you can put the A after the L and make it ls-la, but I like it as AL for all. So, however you want to do it. But, boom, now you've got a bunch of them. Putty. I didn't even know I had a putty. So, but now if you look, there's cheat right up there. Okay?
What was the other second? What was the other single command you just showed for cheat a second ago?
Oh,
Do you have to run G first the first time to get it to create the dot?
Once it's installed. Once it's installed, and again, I did it through the pip version. Once it's installed, it should, you may have to run the setup once you do the git clone, run the setup, and so here we have a Python script. How do I know it's a Python script? The setup py extension has a .py extension. So how would I do that? How would I run it? There's really two ways. Let me check that. No, it doesn't have it on there. Okay, normally you would do you would add Python in front of it and then do setup. But if they go in and at the top of the script, and you're going to learn this in Bash, if you put the # exclamation or hash bang, and then put bin Python, then it knows to kick that off first. And so then you can run it. Then you can run it as a setup. It won't let me. But if you do the // that tells it run this application from, what's the dot stand for?
Where you're at.
That directory, where you're at. And then the / means just go ahead and you're gonna have to use it for that file. Okay. So if you come across a file name that you don't know what it is and you can't view it in anything, then you would use the // to view it. I'm just saying. Okay. So once you get it installed, you run cheat, and then whatever you want. And again, the command. If you download the security cheat sheets, then you just put it in your .cheat file directory, and you can put them. And you can make whatever you want. And once you do that, you can go with it. Now, the other one that I was talking about. Sorry, I'm going to go a little bit over. Whatever. The other one I was talking about that is very similar is TLDR. Whoops, DR. Too long, didn't read. Same thing. Yeah, same thing, but with TLDR, it goes out and they have a Git repo. You also get this on the Git. You can do GitHub and then TLDR, and you'll find it. And what happens is it actually goes and phones home and gets the latest and greatest cheat sheets and downloads them to your directory. Now, you can't modify those. You have to actually modify it and do the Git pull request and blah 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 blah. So in between the two, I like cheat a little bit better, just for the simple fact that I can modify them and create my own. So, but if I do TLDR on tar, very similar. Okay.
Does RTFM still exist?
Red Team Field Manual?
No.
Right. Read the F manual?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Does that command?
Oh,
Sounds like these have kind of replaced that over time.
No. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
That's really old. I'm old.
It's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
I learned Unix on AT&T 3B2s.
Nice.
It was System 5 all the way.
So you're really liking the System D stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I switched.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I switched over to BSD based Unix years ago.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions? I know there was a fast down and dirty, but you're going to learn a little bit more with Justin. You're going to learn more scripting on how, again, the command line here is the bash terminal. What does that stand for? Yes. Okay, born again shell. And there's all kinds. There's corn. There's, anyone watch Futurama? Okay, the doctor, the octopus, what's
Zoidberg.
Yeah, there's actually a Python-based shell called Zoidberg. I could not get it to install, and at the time when it came out, it was the download it, config, make install, and I was like, it's too much trouble. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. There's a BOUYOU, which is it's pretty cool. If you want to see something cool, look up that and Hollywood hack something or other. I'll try and put up the links a little bit later. But they actually created a script that goes into this thing, and it runs off of it. So you hit Hollywood something or other, and it starts opening up all these windows just like it does in Hollywood. And it's pretty cool. So you can show how elite hacker you are. And the guy actually said they showed it on like episodes of different hacking TV shows. Pretty funny. So does anybody have any other questions? Now, we covered more of the command line side of it, but if you want to do, was that you or me?
That was me.
Oh. There's all kinds of GUI interfaces that you can. So here is a Python editor, the Ninja editor. I really like it. If you're into pictures and photo editing, GIMP is Photoshop from a few years ago, but it's really good. I used to be a web developer, and I used all the Adobe products. And when I stopped doing that, I went to GIMP, and it does everything I need to do. So it's pretty powerful. And here is a remote desktop, so you can actually remote into a Windows machine without any other Windows files. Just remote right into it, just like you do remote desktop. So I would show you, but then I would give away some of the CTF. So you're not going to get to see that part.
But if you write down, in fact, you need to use remote desktop for one. I might.
No, that's not part of it. What? When I would log into it, it would show the flying part. Okay, well. You have no questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry it was fast. If you have any